Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another, I don't know, should be a Quickview, but you can't buy it anymore. You certainly can't buy it in the form that it's anymore. We pretty much got it on blowout clearance, but that gives us an opportunity to do a side-by-side test. We are, of course, going to complain about the state of the industry, as I feel like this vehicle is something indicative of that state of the industry. So this is our boy. You can't buy this. I'm pretty sure they're all gone. They went on clearance on A-Main, ordered it, and by the time I got a shipment notification, it said back order. So, did it say back order or out of stock? Either way, it's no longer a thing because IFS, you can kind of see it out of the IFS. Element has moved on to IFS 2, and we have done a kind of a build, a ground up build, centered around the IFS 2 independent front suspension conversion, specially licensed long travel suspension system by Camberg. I have heard not a single good word of, there it is, upside down, about IFS, the Gen 1 IFS. I've heard it called a shovel. I've heard it called any number of unkind things, and if anything, all that did was pique my curiosity. It really makes me want to know, like, how bad can it be, man? How bad can it be? Now, I'm not an RTR guy. You know this. This is an RTR. And there's nothing explicitly inside this box that cannot be obtained individually. Like, you don't need to buy an RTR to get this stuff. The reason that look at it, it's adorable. It's adorable. Yeah, that red is a way different. Fire. I'm sorry, not red. Fire. The fire is a very different color than portrayed on the internet. How many times are we attacked? We'll find out. I put the razor knife away too early. So, this is something that, hey, XP130. That's how you know that basically this guy going on clearance is an effort to get rid of old stock, because everything is the Fly Sky G4P now, and that is a disgusting radio. So I am honestly, look at all the extra bits. All right, you're coming through. Yeah. Oh, no way, bro. I might be wrong. I'm looking. There might be the parts in here to convert this thing to live axle. There may well be. Oh, we got 4 big old zip ties in there. We've got all the stickers that appear in all of the promotional imagery, the like big trail runner ones and stuff, which, you know, is not mirrors. We got mirrors. It's nice. I like that they give you the option. You can run it clean if you want. I have been curious about this size grabber. My only experience up till right about now is with the 1.9 grabbers. Get all these off of here. We'll take a look underneath. And my only experience in IFS is IFS 2. So oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it's different. It's different. It's already pretty different. So, we're not going to do so much. Oh man, it's good looking. I gotta give them that. It is good looking. It is an RTR, and it is in the building because it was on clearance, and it was $275. So nowadays, $275 is giving it away when you know what a body costs. And look at these adorable. That's a little firm. This guy is not This guy's not that heavy. It's yeah, this really, the heavier duty vinyl stuff, you don't get any of the real ASMR benefits out of it. Oh, I hate these tiny little body clips. So, Element. This one's been out for a minute. Been out, was out, is no longer out. Where's the bumpers? Okay. It's going to have the usual stuff underneath. If not a Reedy 1523 serving for steering, it will be whatever the exact equivalent of a Reedy 1523, just has a different number on it. We'll see when we flip it over. It is going to have a Reedy crawler in there. This is, I'm going to say it's going to be the 16 turn 540. And then it's going to have a Reedy SC40X, a.k.a. the worst speed control in the world. And this is the way that Element, oh, it's very different. Yeah. Yeah, what? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that front end is wild. Let me see if I can if we can do the, it's got a little perforation on it. Yeah, there we go. So the new boy, the Camberg setup, which we'll see how bad the glare is. It's not too bad. You see the standard Element layout there for the servos side by side, and it basically has a rack in the front. This guy's got servo in the back with a linkage that goes to the front. It is a Reedy 1523 MG. Steering angle doesn't look bad. Oh, the shocks are behind the axle. They're still using full-size springs. They've gone to mini springs on the IFS2. The skid is absolutely anorexic on this. On the right behind him, right there, Hank, is just a fully built IFS2. So I don't know if we'll be able to get this framed enough to where we can see it. Let's go like that, okay? And then we'll go like that. Yeah, these are very different on the setup. There are zero parts commonalities between IFS1 and IFS2, except potentially the little broached ball studs that they use, but nothing else. No other parts transfer over. We got the MagnaFlow. We got the MagnaFlow muffler on there. This, for those not familiar, is the missing link, and he was built as the thing that Element won't give you. Trailing arm rear and IFS2 front with a Stealth XF. You can get combinations of almost all of the pieces. Like a U-Tron will give you IFS2 and a Stealth XF, but not trailing arms. And you can get, and then that's it. Like you can get Stealth XF in vehicles, you can get IFS2 in vehicles, but you can't get them all together. They're all 4-link in the rear like this. And I don't know if that's for better or for worse. I wanted to build it because I had bits laying around. This is a 12.8, right? Yeah. 324 wheelbase. Nice. Plastic pivot balls, but we do have the metal sliders. We've got the RTR shock that don't have, so it has to have a washer on the outside. It doesn't have the new cap that has the little the bleeder screw cap in it. We've got very old shock towers that have a little, that's different on IFS2. IFS2 puts longer ends on the bottoms of the front shocks so that it doesn't have this little down plate in the front. This is an interesting little thing we got going on here. The motor is mounted clocked in such a way that, I mean, it's the 540 5-slot Reedy crawler, the torqueless wonder of the world. You can just roll it back. The motor basically provides no resistance. And then, the very worst part about this whole operation is that I have to have the soldering iron on over there. because I need to sacrifice another XT60 to solder a battery plug on this. The way we do this, the way we work here in the Canyon is, this is an RTR. It is ready to run. So for the first portion of this, which will inevitably and undoubtedly be at least 2 parts of the Trailrunner Chronicles, this is part 1, which is a quick view of sorts. We can't buy this. And we know there are knowns. We already have knowns. We have many vehicles fitted with Element axles. We like Element axles. Their weakness being like pinion lash will just blow them up, because they used a tiny pinion, and they also used a tiny inner pinion bearing. These issues are all correctable. They will come with these general grabbers, which are lackluster in performance. Well, I've never run the 155. The 1.9 is not a tire to wow you. It is a very OE grade tire. We were fitted with the Reedy 1523, which on a good day downhill with a tailwind will get you about 200 ounces of torque, which is nothing by today's standards, as $25 on Amazon will get you between 500 and 600 ounces. The combination of the motor and the ESC are absolutely the worst in the world. They are the very worst offerings in anything RTR. No one has come close to how bad these are. There are some aftermarket options that are equally terrible, but not as bad as the 480X. The 480X effectively has no drag brake, and this motor will get hot, undergeared, overgeared, correctly geared. No matter what pinion and spur combination you use, that motor will get hot. They are just the worst. And my only assumption is that Element must just have vast warehouses full of them. Because otherwise, why would they do this to us? So, pardon me for one brief moment, as there's still, T connectors, man. No, nobody's using Deans anymore. Well, these are fake Deans. You can tell that's just plastic. That's not even the thermoplastic Deans used to use. I am going to get into the bin. I need a female. Right here. Female. So for the first part, like I say, RTR means we make it so we can fit a battery to it. We'll run the battery in the stock forward position. I will put batteries in this. I will put battery in this. And we will go and drive it with this and that and this and these. And we will see, is it good? Is it bad? Is it bad as people say? I will dig into this bag because I believe some of the bits in here are supposed to be installed. I believe you assemble these pieces to make the front bumper of these and these guys. They just, they don't come installed for purposes of box fitment. Again, I'm not a fan of RTRs, but I cannot take away a full serving of points here because it's $275. So we will forgive the inclusion of outdated. Like, this is not a terrible RTR radio. It's not great, but it has an important thing. It has endpoint adjustments on there. It doesn't feel too bad. It looks very dated at this point. It's got the chrome wheel with the brake rotor. It's not a fantastic radio. It's also certainly not in the running for the worst radio ever. And you gotta say, it's a nice body. The body will set you back, I don't know, I want to say like $80 for one of these. So what we paid for is we wanted a 4Runner, and we paid $200 for a rig, and then we already had the body. So if I discard all of the electronics, which will be discarded inevitably, and if I get rid of the wheels and tires, $200 is still, you know, if this were a builder's kit, $200 is fine. I'm okay with $200. I'm very anxious to find out how good or bad is IFS 1. Is it as bad as everyone says? And what is the performance of the package together going to be? I think it was still a deal if you managed to get one when they had them. Let us get it into its out of the... Oh, there's even some even some LEDs. Let's get it into the sort of RTR configuration. And then we can drive it, as we do. So we rejoin about a leisurely 40 minutes later as I put the little bits and bobs on the body, remove it's a separate piece of the body, remove the lower fascia. So you can run it either way. You can run it no bumper and just run it like that. Or the 4 of the little plastic, they use these little press onto the tabs. You pop 4 of those out. You slap the bumper in, you're good to go. Indeed, the leftover bits are the servo mount for live axle, a front housing, shorter body posts, presumably if you want to run like a pickup truck. This is the same wheelbase as a Sendero, so you could just put a Sendero body on this and have an IFS Sendero if you so desired. The optional 11% overdrive gears, which we're going to install at some point. A horn for if you're running live axle in, there's 2 of them because it's bonus hollow balls and each one has a horn on it. And then that's where it gets, kind of element on us. Because in the instructions, and there are full instructions when you get to the very, not the very, very end of it, but very near the end of it. Front axle optional right there. Great. That's a fantastic inclusion. No link/shock mounts. No front diff cover. No tie rod. No drag link. So the inclusion of this is effectively superb. You can't use this. If you're going to give us the option in the box, give us the option in the box. It also includes what appear to be 2 servo mounts. At no point in the manual are these ever referenced at all. I have no idea what they are supposed to be for. And then there are 2 rod ends, but they're the angled and the tie rod on an Element axle. I think I have one. The tie rod, which would go on an Element axle, uses straight ends. So no gear cover, no link mounts. We're missing a lot of. I don't know if we're missing them. I do know that while assembling the body and drilling the holes in it, you will see orange, blue. I made sure I didn't drop it. I cut the bag open right here. I'm triple checking and quadruple checking. They just shorted us one little silicone O-ring to mount the pieces. Also, at no point in the manual do they reference the size holes you need to drill to mount the roof rack and the snorkel. And there's a pre-embossed line on the fender flare, and I cut the flares at that line, because if you don't cut the flares at that line, they stick down past the bumper, and I thought it looked weird. I like the more opened up end look. We were going full, this is full Overlander look. There are also more scratches on the inside of the windows than I would have anticipated, and I hadn't noticed until I was handling it that the window stickers are very matte. Those could be either cut or peeled out to see the inside. But we really don't have a need to see the inside, so I'm not going to fuss with it. And another worthy of mention, the whole decal sheet is super matte. So there's no gloss to this. This is the only set of Element decals I have that are really matte like that. We'll pick some out of here. Maybe the little Toyota, the little wedgies that go on the door. We will see. It kind of got me hopes up, and I was like, oh, we could throw a live axle on here and see how it feels. Live axle front, live axle rear. Not that long to swap it out. Much longer time spent swapping out from 6% to 12% overdrive. The things that kept striking me is it's very strange in what was installed and what wasn't. All the wipers and door handles are installed, but the snorkel wasn't. It wasn't a box interference issue. The snorkel could have been on there. I don't mind putting these pieces on at all, but there was nothing about the packaging or the assembly. I mean, all of the flares were installed. And while we're at it, every Element rig that you buy comes with a build manual, which has the full instructions to build the whole thing from the ground up. So was there a hopes of, or an anticipation of, at some point, of putting it out as a kit? The holes for the mirrors were pre-drilled. And I'm guessing they treat the bumper, the snorkel, and the roof rack as optional. All of the wipers were installed, door handles, the little rear valance, the skirts, all of that stuff came pre-installed. And then there was a bunch of stuff that didn't. So they give you about a third of the parts needed to convert it to a live axle in the front. And I thought it was going to be a super bonus. If there had been a tie rod and a cover and enough to swap it over, that's just, in the industry, they call that added value. It would have just been added value, but they didn't add the value. So we soldered effectively the waste of a plug. It hasn't even been powered on yet. I did notice upon squeezage, not ventilated in any way. The rim is not ventilated, nor is the tire ventilated. That's not going to help these little fellas. And I also noticed, I was like, wow, when they give us that housing, why would they do that? Well, the outer knuckles, perhaps this is why it doesn't work. They basically just adapted all of the existing stuff. Like, these are the same, presumably. Oh, no. These are dog bones. So to convert this to a front axle, I have no idea why this is in here. You would have to buy a front axle kit because you need the guys. This has dog bones on it. I don't know. Maybe I was missing pieces. Maybe this was sitting in a warehouse for a real long time. Maybe somebody was tired that day. There's no real. Okay, let me. This is quintuple checking. Ordinarily, I don't go to the manual this hard, but nope. There's this 1/1 scale view. There's the features, the body, yada yada. Oh, is this an SC400 and not a 480? No, it's a 480. The manual definitely says Reedy SC400X and a smooth and powerful Reedy Crawler 16 turn 5 slot. They also say Reedy high torque 1320 MG. This is definitely a 1523. My vision's bad, but it's not that bad. No, I mean, can we get it like, yeah, 1523. So some specifications are subject to change. Yeah, there is absolutely no reference or mention to option parts that are included or not included. So what we're missing or what we have extra, maybe that got tossed into the bag by accident. So what we have and we don't have is, we'll never know. It will be a great unknowable. Yeah, that's a fast boy. Let's see. Feels all right. Yeah, a lot better if it's not loaded up. Yeah, that's a 480 and a Reedy crawler, all right. There's no feel at the tip in. It's like what we would. I can't even get into also the body. It's like you ever tried to put socks on wet feet? That's what it's like to try to get this body on. Trying to get it into the slot in the slider. I don't want to go off on a rant about how bodies should just be clipless at this point, but we have to give them a little bit of slack. It's been out for a minute. It has been no, it hasn't been replaced. What are the other, like, do the Night Runner and those, do they come on IFS 2? Or are they still clearing out IFS 1s? Oh, that side's in. That side's in. Don't mess with it. I give it a near infinite number of bonus points for this. It looks really good. It looks really good, and we already have. Let's get that situated. Yeah, and we already have the stages. There's an IFS2 right here. I can easily adapt it over, slap it in there, and it will run just as is. And so what we're going to do, here's what we're going to do. All right. Okay. In the spirit of an RTR, for an RTR, we drive it. We drive it just like this. And, oh, come on. Okay. I'm going to make a very valiant effort to go as slow as I can. That's it. It goes 0 to cruising speed. We're going to run it as it is, and then we've got stuff lined up. And what we're going to do is we're going to drive this, and then we're going to see what do we think needs replaced first. What is the biggest problem here? I don't think it's going to be IFS1. Because the motor and the speed control are so bad. We have a Fusion SE 1200 to address that. And that will make a drastic change. I already know. We have some prior Element experience. Then, I think it's probably going to be the grabbers. They are very soft this way, which is the way you don't want to be soft. And quite firm this way, which is the way you don't want to be firm. So we have a set of J-Concepts Bounty Hunters on some nice TCRC wheels, just the stock foams, and I think these are 385s. Do they say on the sidewall? Yes, 385. These are 393s, so it's a tiny bit bigger. Oh, kind of get a little bling in there. Those would be the go-to tire. We've got a bin full of servos. I'm probably just going to opt for like an AGFRC 32 kg, not something super fast, not something super torquey. I don't think we need it. I like this look. This is the offer. That's what all them Jeeps. That's what you see. It looks good. It looks good. I will give them all the points for it looking good. It's just, why wouldn't you let us buy this in pieces? And why do you keep putting 480s? And they're going now. Oh yeah, they were like, we can make it better for it. We'll put a 2-in-1 in it. So I can't complain too loudly because I should just be thankful that it doesn't have a 2-in-1 in it. So to the rocks, and we will take it and we will put it through some paces, and we will hope to spend at least 60% of the time rubber side down. I think worthy of note, what we've gleaned from the drive back is I can tell that the tires aren't ventilated. They're a little bouncy, and because of the bounciness and the fact that this is fitted with a Stealth X very quiet. The body rattle of the jostling around is the loudest thing. So I would say some foam or something. I usually use hobby foam. I just cut a little square out and then use a hole punch to punch a hole out of hobby foam. Something in between the body mount and the body, just to quiet it down a little bit. Also, much as I like the front bumper, aesthetically, stay with the Lexan front. I like the look of this, but it does have a little bit of that meme where it's like a dinosaur, a toy dinosaur, and it has its bottom jaw tucked in. So it does the it's kind of what it looks like. It's got a big overhanging top jaw and no bottom jaw. Steering is a little weird, almost as if it speeds up and slows down through the throw. I have to guess that that's the geometry and or the actuation of IFS1. And what else did I have in my head? I almost rolled it twice just getting it here. So we might have a little bit of work ahead of us. And oh yes. Even when you take the XP130, which I would take on any day over the G4P, the combination of the Reedy SE480X and the Reedy crawler motor, the first 20% of the trigger pull, you don't feel like anything's happening, and then it starts going, and then you have about a 20% usage there, Then there's about 40% of it where you feel like nothing's happening again. You just feel like that's the speed that you're moving, and then all of a sudden you're going faster. So, yeah, this is going to have the. We have. I was going to say we have no chance just because of the height and the amount of grip, but yeah, we can. We're not in physical contact with anything. This is just, that's the drag brake I'm used to. Now, I'm not saying that if these are ventilated, they won't get better. Ooh. I want to see if I can get to the top of this. But that is stuck. Oh. Ooh. That overhang in the back. I'm not going to just outright say that I feel like the rear suspension is too soft, but let's just say it is quick to compress. All right. Oh. When I was undergoing the IFS experiment that became the rig that you saw a moment ago, I said that I kind of wanted something between Leafs and Lynx, somewhere in between. IFS is kind of that because your front clearance height is not great. Also, the angle of the front, like I guess what you would call the skid, there's a front skid and a rear skid for the IFS. The angle of the front skid on this one is very abrupt in that it will just bang, and then it's stuck. The IFS2 seems to have cleared that up. Oh, I have long said that servo on axle is like is the rough equivalent to doubling your servo torque. The effective force applied by the servo about doubles when you go to servo on axle. That is not the case with independent front suspension, at least not IFS 1. It feels like it's cutting the torque of that already low torque reading 1523 in half. Because if you have any load on your tire, it will hold it, but there's not a lot that's used. Oh, it's just so, it is not smooth. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing some mental math. What is, get it? You little short tired long wheelbase boy. Oh, see. What is the biggest hold back? What is holding us back the mostest? I think the 155 grabber is kind of okay. I prefer it to the 19 grabber, to the class 2 grabber. This one's not awful. I mean, I don't know if I'd replace any tire to put it in its place, but the motor, there is no such thing as a smooth transition into reverse. Yeah, the grabber's not bad. That's long belly, so we're bellying out a bit. I think on just the right day, yeah, because of the combo that's in here, we're having to use way more trigger than you would want to use. I think the early almost rolls might have just been the RTR sitting in a box for who knows how long. Shocks getting their emulsion on. Overall, it's not bad. Because realistically, we had more than an anticipation. This is not our first, second, third, fourth, or fifth experience with the reedy crawler. Boy, I'd put big air quotes around that. Power system. It's just terrible. Excellent gearbox. Good axle. I had to use so much power there. Ooh, that was a sudden weight transfer. I'm catching it. I think the body feels heavy relative to holding on to just like a cab. But for how big it is and how long it is, it's not really that heavy. I don't think the rig itself is oversprung or underdamped, really. I think most likely 300 CST in there. It feels okay. The foams are too firm, or it's the tires not being ventilated. The foam tire combo definitely feel too firm for this vehicle. So there is the question. Is it the foam and the tire, or is it the motor? What's the worst thing we've got going on here? Oh. Sir, you have been in an accident. Let me see if I can back out of this. I don't know, maybe it is a little oversoft in the rear. Let me pan out a little bit so we can take a brief glance at the turning circle. So we'll start them from right over there, and it's acceptably tight. So I can't fault IFS1 for that. We need to, yeah, it's not bad, and obviously on nice flat ground with some give to it. It's so quiet. The 1523 it's not the end of the world. You know, you get in rocks, you're gonna stall it out, but with this vehicle as it's set up, I wouldn't say that the servo is even in the top. It's in the top 5 of problems that need to be addressed, but I honestly, I can't decide if it's the unventilated rim and tire or the motor. The motor feels terrible. It can almost go that slow. But there's nothing in between. That's it, right? Nope, nothing. And that's it's as slow as you can go. Like we're not breaking any records for low speed on this. This is a rig that you would have or would buy if they're still available out there. Not for its outright abilities, but a lot of it is because of how it looks. And as a crawler is by definition not the body, that's fine. You're spending this to get the body, and there's probably I'm trying to self-justify. Can I justify $275 for this? And it gets tough. It really does get tough. If there had been the pieces included to put a live axle in the front, I'd be like, man, $275 is dealing and stealing. But the electronics, the radio is, the XP130 is fine. It was a tried and true concept and an element. But the rest of the electronics are not up to any sort of standard. I almost said modern standard, but not modern standard. No, you know what? Here's what it makes me want to do. I think we might be stuck. Nope, we got out. Yeah, the CG definitely acts lower than the vehicle appears. Now, well, here's the thing. The work required to ventilate those 155s. Now, I have to do it, right? It's what I have to do. If we're going to do this properly, we have to work incrementally. And the more I think about it, the more I want to see this thing move on vented tires. I'm going to take a look at the wheels. And I don't just want to drill a hole in the wheel. This means I got to unmount them and I got to punch them. But then I can look at the foams as well. Yeah, that's okay. That's where we have to end up. So we're going to pull those wheels apart, and I'm going to vent the tires, and I'm going to take a look at the foams, and then we're going to just continue where we left off. I do have to say that, I mean, in the spirit of being thorough and complete, that we're here. They feel. I mean, come on. Okay, so we still got number 4. The difference it's insane. It is half. It is half the firmness. I still think. I mean, I don't know. Bench feel is traditionally a bit of a liar. This has to be one of the first times I've seen. I don't know if I've ever taken these apart because they're like a coarse, like a wood screw thread, but with a nice little chrome cap head. And respect where respect is due. If I know Element does little brass, like the inner part, the hub, if you will. I mean, that's what it is. They do brass hubs for their 1.9 plastics like this. This part, you can get this part in brass. And I had always poo-pooed it. I'm like, why? But I don't know. These look fine. They got a little deep dish to them. But beyond that, they're super easy to put in and take out. And they mesh with the, like, imagine if that was brass. Chunk. You wouldn't need to add any more weight. The foams, it was definitely the non-vented. The foam is a little overstuffed. As you can see, it was like pursed over like that. That's why it didn't get stained from being in the wheel as long as it has been. It's probably been in there a while. We've got no belting, no ribbing. We've got a nice double edge on the beadlock. These sit down great on their little wheels. I'm just, as usual, there's not really a space to get in between the lugs. They're so tightly spaced. So I'm just going 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Just punching holes in them. I had the thought occurred to me. There it goes. I said to myself, hey, guy, why don't you grab your bag and take the 1.9s out with you, which are 393s, so we're not going up a ton. And while I'm at it, I might as well grab the already mounted 419s, which these are outstanding. And if those will clear, I don't know. I was looking at the body, and I was like, honestly, you might have to go full Jeepster and just omit your, like, okay, see the little scallopy shape? You might have to get rid of these and grind it. I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I'm a little bit of a slave to the look. So I don't know if I want to go cutting into the body. We will just hope, like they just drop in. We will hope that the 393s are the deal. That the bounty hunters do as well as they have historically done on other vehicles, and then we won't have to worry about it. Because going from a 385 to a 393 is a small jump. But going from a 385 to a 419 is it's a bit more, and that might be enough because these, well, I don't know, maybe narrow offset. Maybe we can get them in there a little more. I was also reminded of the curse of non-clamping / non, they're just plastic press-on wheel hexes. I was about ready to just finish this up and head back outside, and I look down at the bench, and there's just a 2mm pin, a cross pin, and I'm like, okay, where did that fall out of? So it was driver front. I also, looking at mental pictures, memories of IFS 2 compared to the layout of IFS1, now that I can get a little bit closer look at it with the wheel off. Yeah, the other one is far superior. I haven't noticed any of the massive drawbacks that people are warning of, but we didn't really manage to get into anything hairy, honestly, because there was no grip to be had. I think this will be better. Just venting these, which is effectively free. If you already have a punch, it doesn't really cost anything. That's pretty much free. Like there's zero caster in the front. They are straight up and down. And I guess what it is that there's some point in the stroke that the universals get wildly unhappy or something. The IFS2, the shock goes through double wishbone, so it goes through the middle of the upper A arm. It just feels more like the IFS2 is rock solid. Oh! As I was wrenching on this, it occurred to me. I was looking at it, and I was like, it's so weird, right? It's so weird. We put the servo back here, and then we have this big plank, 4 holes in it. And then a part of my brain was thinking, which, takes energy away from the other parts. But it was looking at those holes and said to the other part of my brain, it said, hey, remember those servo mounts? Remember those servo mounts? There's one hole there, so the servo would go there. What do you think that those go like that, and you mount your servo winch there, and then it goes out of that fair lead in the front of the bumper? Yeah, that's probably what those are for. And again, if it's in the manual, they hid it because I couldn't find it. So we are going to, for the remainder of installment 1, of part 1 of this Quickview / evaluation / get this thing into a usable, drivable, suitable level of performance with effectively minimal additions, keeping in mind what the thing spent, what was spent for the thing, how much we're going to dump into it. And I don't want it to be too much. I don't want it to be too much. Yeah, it's not a heavy boy, even with the body. Oh, and luckily, they do give you one extra of the little plastic push-on things, because where this guy goes, it does help to put a little dab of super glue on those so they don't pop off. But I have this fear that the level that hangs down, I think it's probably just not long for this world as it is. It's probably going to get peoing, and then I will just Dremel the body up at a line that looks fairly organic. So this guy is now ready to go out, and we will conclude part 1 with the $0. This is still the continuation of the RTR, the first RTR wheel, because those tires, they feel infinitely better now. I don't know if they're still going to have enough traction in them to make me happy, but I mean, we're going to find out right out there. And in the bag will be the 393 Bounty Hunters, these guys. Smush. These guys, and we will test those because, like I said, the difference between 385, and that's not very easy to see. The difference between 385 and 393 is very small. I think these they're fine. They'll go nicely along there. We will do those, and we will run it like that. Oh, we can get a little bit closer of a look at the, yeah, see, it just kind of, I mean, I kind of like that. Not going to get a lot of interference. The approach angle is, honestly, it's decent. It's decent, but the bumper does, and again, sacrifices for vanity. That bumper fits perfectly with the body. The bumper would be better if it could go back one more hole, but you'd have to chop that off. You'd have to do some trimming, primarily along here. You could get it back one more hole, but you would have to crop the bull bar off, and I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out because the stock grill doesn't have it. So, I don't know. We'll see. I wanted the bumper, and now I'm questioning. I'm like, did I really want the bumper? Would I rather have this pushed back a little? And also, I wouldn't want to push it back a little because I am at a certain point, I'm going to want to find out if 419s will fit. If you can fit a Class 1 under here, honestly, I mean, this might look very Toyota, but to me, the tires look a little small. They look a little small. And maybe it's just because, to my eye, 385 just... it is what it is. It looks a little small. So if a 419 would clear... Oh, see, that would look mean on there. That would look mean. I would be absolutely... Ooh, that will be the teller. That's going to be proper close. And they're not appreciably wider. They're a little bit wider. Maybe on a 6mm hub, get them really tucked in there. I don't know. We're going to do this in stages. My goal would be, you know what? I was going to say that my goal would be to get this into 2 parts, but if it goes to 3 parts, so be it. I do believe that when the Fusion goes in, we will put in big, air quotes around big, the 12% rear underdrive, because I think it'll help. A little longer wheelbase than the 313, so it'll help pull it around a little bit. I'm having a good time. Full disclosure, we might as well write this into the story. This episode is going to take, or this installment, these 3 parts will in total be filmed over the course of about 5 days because I'm doing construction. And I figure it's not like anybody's rushing out to buy one of these unless their LHS happens to have one, a dusty box in the back. I think it's going to be a fun little project to try to put as little into as possible. You know, it was really easy to order a $100 IFS2 when this was $275. And I had $20 of rewards points, and it was eligible for coupon. So I got $35 off. So it was $340 for this and the IFS, which is about the cost of what, a Deadbolt 2? I think we're way ahead of a Deadbolt 2 right now, even with the electronics where they are. We're probably going to end up in that $500 range. That's just where things like this work out. But this is the Canyon, as you know. You've been here before. We haven't spent anything other than buying this and the IFS. Everything else, these are already here. This boy ain't new. Nothing new is going to go in this. The servo has been a pass-around servo. It's going to be one of those AGFRC. I mean, I wouldn't mind putting a winch in this guy. This guy could be the first entry of the Canyon scalers. A little bit of a scaler. So nothing above 4.19s for sure. I'm looking around the rack to see. I'm like, yeah. Could be Tusks. Could be Bounty Hunters. And no matter how it works, you know, these might be good enough. It might be these. I don't know. The rim looks too small. I think I feel that more. And that might look like a little too bro, but I don't know. I'm good with it. Anyway, we will go do the tire testing, finish up this installment, and then you can check out part 2 very soon when that is done. But we got more rock time before that. And we'll meet you once again out of doors. I feel like this is more incrementally than we ordinarily work around here, but I want to give it the shake, you know. And as I said, on the bench, they definitely felt improved. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, there's that back. It's not a bumper. Valance. Get that thing off of there. There we go. Come on. Yeah. You want to know how you can tell the tire has improved? Now I feel the motor a lot, like a real lot. I think it's still a little firm. Perhaps carcass, perhaps a little bit of the foam we get some drop back because, because, I mean, our drag brake is, we're relying on mechanical drag brake. We're relying on getting the rear end stuck on things to stop us from rolling back. Because if we're not stuck on anything, we're just, we rolling away. Yeah, I think, all right, let me hit this other side though. This is a passable tire. It really is. Yeah, that's not, it's not bad. But at the same time, there is definitely a limitation, obviously, a self-imposed limitation, of a 385 tire on a 12.8 wheelbase rig. There's a lot, look at the distance between the tires. There's a lot of space in between there that you have to try to break over. So if the surface is smoother, yeah, we're doing okay. And if I can maneuver around the choppy stuff, that little there was a little spot right there where I'm trying to get that rear end to push. I'm trying to see, because even under transfer, there's not a lot of weight moving to the back axle. So it's asking the fronts to do a lot of work. And here's the real problem. This is the effect. I'm being poisoned so slowly that I can't feel it. We're roll back, and then something, I think it's the muffler right now, is touching the ground. That's our tiny anchor. Here he comes. Y'all know him well. Will he fly directly over the house? I'm starting to think that I'm a landmark for the helicopter. They're like, you know that dude that's always out there putting rocks in his yard? Just aim at that. So, is the 385 grabber improved simply by venting? Yes. Is it the tire that I would stay with? Not to do stuff like this. Also, that's pretty good. During the intervening period, I really got to thinking about IFS 1. I am going to unbolt these, and I'm going to bolt the bounty hunters on real quick. I am so on the fence right now about IFS 1. Because where I can't get to is, do I want to leave it? Do I want to replace it with IFS 2, which we have? Do I want to take the bits and bobs that I have over there and build a front axle and just put this guy 3-link front and 4-link rear? I don't know. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. I do know. I don't know why. Okay, they're a tiny bit taller, and that tiny bit taller gives me hope that 419 Tusks will fit. Although I like the look of this. That tire is not that much bigger, but it I don't know, maybe it's that they're not just little black flavorless plastic guys. I think it looks better. Now, a little bit softer of a foam, much softer of a carcass on the bounty hunter versus the 393 grabber. Yeah, we are yeah. Again, how do you know a tire is working? The lack of power in the motor is now stunning. Because the old, I can't get over it. I think a mirror just flew off. Yep, and the other mirror was almost off. You got to put super glue on every one of those little things or the bits are coming off. Also, the offset on the stock tire is pretty big. These are definitely tucked in more. Oh, yeah, it's not surprising. Whatever Element / Associated calls the compound that they make their RTR tires out of. It's certainly not J-Concept's green. And then we combine that with the little bit of added weight of the wheels, and it's just better. So now it is all but unquestionably the motor and speed control holding us back. And here's the thing. Again, if you poison me slowly enough, I won't notice that I'm being poisoned. It's on, say, the rear tire's right in between a little triangle, so we're not rolling back. It's almost like drag brake. Oh, there it is. There it goes. This thing is light. It should just hold it. This is the least worst experience I've had with Reedy Crawler. Don't know. I don't know if we can get that belly over. It really makes me want to get Class 1s on here. CG's all right. I was, there were warnings. People were like, oh, the IFS1 is just outright terrible. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was it. It got incepted into me, and I was expecting just abject terror. But it's not bad. This crawls rock passably well, despite... Oh, that servo's got nothing. That servo's got nothing. Despite having Class 1 ground clearance, sub-Class 1 ground clearance, does not have the best approach angle, does not have the best departure angle. There are a lot of sacrifices for vanity occurring right here. So, of course, we take it to something difficult, because why wouldn't we? Honestly, right there, that extra few millimeters of tire... 419s, come on, I hope they fit. We're going to find out in the next one whether they fit or not, because in the meantime, we need to go to big underdrive. We need to go from the 6% to the 12%. Fusion 1200 needs to go in here 100%. Yeah, bounty hunters are pretty good. Bounty hunters have long been pretty good, and these are pretty good. Suspension is not too bad. In a part 1, in a quick view or rear view, as it's not like I think you can still get one of these. In a quick view capacity, I mean, as an RTR goes, this is not bad. The radio is manageable for whatever reason. I don't know if it's that the IFS1 has drag in it. I don't know. There is some mysterious unknowable. I'm doing this. There's some mysterious unknowables working together to make the Reedy Crawler. It's still bad. Like you tip in and you go pretty fast, but it's not nearly as bad as it is on both end live axles. Now right there, I did feel the IFS1 hanging down there a little bit. But the Geo is good. We are here for the body, I think, almost inarguably. And the mirrors are a problem. He already lost a mirror, but both of the parts are next to each other, so I'm gonna have to glue all of the bits onto the body. So in installment 2 of this, we are going to go again. Try to keep it as minimal as possible. So far, if you were to track additions on there, there's about $80 in wheel and tire, and that's all we've done. And it is a borderline enjoyable driving experience, or the poison is soaking into my nervous system. I can't tell. If you were never going to crawl a rock, God, I can't believe I'm saying this. That Reedy system might actually be survivable if you're tooling this around and you're going to do a little bit of light rock crawling with it, you could get away with the generals and you could get away with what's in there. This guy goes, it earns a soft position on the list. This is insane to me that it's an RTR. You can put a battery in it and put batteries in the included controller, and you can have a time. You can have a time that borders on a good time, which is crazy, which is really crazy because I don't know. Maybe I'm mellowing and I'm losing the desire to just overmod. No. I want to change everything. I want to change everything. This thing, maybe it's just pretty, that its prettiness is infecting me. I don't know. Again, somewhere between Leafs and Lynx is where stuff like this resides. If I had any amount of torque right there, I would be able to get that tire over. But I just don't. There's no power in the speed control and there's no torque in the motor. Like right there, you'd think, oh, I'm extremely bound up. No, nothing is bound up. But I have to look at it through more than one set of eyes and realize that some people aren't looking for the extreme. So, I mean, if you can find one and they're on blowout clearance, out of the box, honestly, better than many. I don't know about better than most. If there's a Reedy crawler motor and an SC480 in there, you're starting at the bottom of the hill. You're not starting halfway up. But I'm not mad at it. The body, the trimmy bits, boy, do they fall off a lot. But I like the look of that, and perhaps I'm swayed. But in part 2 of this, Fusion, maybe the radio. We're going to go incrementally as we did this time. We'll do Fusion on the Bounty Hunters and then Fusion on the Tusks, and we'll see how we feel from there. And yeah, that's how we're going to do it. That's what we're going to do. We're taking it slow and easy, and I will see you in the next one. And in between now and then, please, one and all, do your very best to have a good one, everybody. We will see you again real soon here from the canyon as we do more trail runner things. I don't even want to put any stickers on it. I just like it. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. Does that affect impartialness? No. It's got problems. And I'm not going to gloss over the problems forever. But we can probably fix them pretty cheap.